Hello and welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to really help you understand the science and the sort of psychological benefits of being able to just rest, recharge and relax. So let's dive in. Now, when we are trying to rest, you will notice, and I know from personal experience, that the mind actually just turns on like full power, and it kind of starts to throw all these thoughts in about you need to do this, that needs to get done, what about that, what about this? And it creates a lot of noise. Now, you might notice this when you're trying to get to sleep as well at night. I often, hear sort of stories around sleep from my patients, and they tell me that, I try to block out this thought, but when I go to bed, it all comes rushing back. And the reason for that is because the brain doesn't have a distraction when you go to sleep, or if you're lying on a sun lounger, you might just be with yourself, and sometimes you'll notice these thoughts will come in. And I guess the first thing to say is that that's actually quite normal. That's how the mind operates. It will find you at any point when there's that spare minute. So in order to kind of not tune into those thoughts, we need to find something else to do. And the reason for that is that if you focus on those thoughts, then whatever those thoughts are about, and if they're unhelpful thoughts, they're going to grow. And alongside that, it grows the emotion. So, if you have an unhelpful thought, for example, that, oh no, I forgot to kind of, send my colleague a list of things that they had to do for next week while I'm away. Well, the thing is, there's not much you can do about that from holiday. I mean, yes, we have access to our emails, but really, is it that important that it can't wait until you go back? It's assessing, it's weighing up the pros and cons in that situation. The sooner you do that, the better, because it means that any unhelpful emotions like fear and anxiety, we don't want them to take over. Okay, so that's the first thing, is that notice the thoughts, either let them go. If it needs any action, and then you kind of go back to what it is you're doing, rather than spending time thinking about it over and over again. The other thing when it comes to rest and relaxation, why it's really important, is because it helps to calm the nervous system. So when our nervous system is calm, it's able to function better. We're able to be more rational. We're able to have more clarity. We're able to focus more. And we're able to be more present and just sort of, enjoy the moment. Our human body loves balance. There's that term homeostasis. It just means being in that kind of balanced feeling, if you like. So not feeling tipped over the edge by lots of unhelpful thoughts and emotions, and kind of not feeling so chilled out that nothing gets done. So it's just having that balance that's really, really important. Now, when we are calm and our nervous system is calm, it puts us into that sort of soothing zone. And by that, I mean, we're able to engage in those activities that we enjoy, that we find pleasure in. And the reason that's important is because it helps to release those happy hormones, which makes us feel good. And ultimately, what all of us really want is to feel good. We feel better, we do more positive things, we show up more positively, more calmly as well. The other thing about keeping the nervous system calm and how that happens when you rest and relax is because it decreases our stress hormone, which is cortisol. So we want to kind of keep that hormone low as possible in the day and in the night as well. And that only happens when we are rested, when we are kind of, doing anything that keeps us feeling like we are feeling that calmness, we are more present, we are mindful. The third thing I want to mention about rest and relaxation is, that feeling of guilt, whether you're on holiday or not, or whether you're at home, or at work even, going out for lunch. that's a form of kind of restful activity because you're moving away from your desk. You're trying to get some fresh air, get some food. If you're at home, you might want to spend the evening just maybe watching TV, catching up with a friend over the phone, making a video call, anything that takes you away and helps you feel rested. And on holiday, it's about switching off. That's the key thing here. Switching off from those activities that you've been doing throughout the day, and trying to engage in something that makes you feel like you've had a connection with someone, you have enjoyed that activity, and you've actually achieved something. So in psychology, we call this ACE. So the A stands for achievement, the C stands for connection, and the E stands for enjoyment. Now, ACE has been shown to help people that are feeling quite low in mood, feeling depressed, that if they have an ACE activity in their day, maybe one or two, it helps to boost their mood. So, in therapy, I often use this with patients and clients to really help them not only move their body, but, engage their mind in something that they feel that they have achieved. And the reason why that's important is because we are programmed as human beings that when we do something we enjoy and we feel that sense of achievement, it releases happy hormones. So there's a neurochemical reaction that takes place between the activity and what hormones are released. So for example, if somebody's kind of, finished a piece of work, or they have been to play tennis with a friend or family, when you come away from that context, you will sort of have that buzz feeling often, especially if you've won a game. But what's happening there is that your brain is releasing dopamine. It's releasing those happy hormones that really you get from moving your body, connecting with others, which are the sort of healthier ways. Now, some people get that from alcohol, food, and drugs, which are the more unhealthier ways, and habits that, often become addictions. So we kind of want to have less of those and more of the others, which involves like moving our body, connecting with others, doing the things that we enjoy and don't feel bad about. So this takes me on to that point about guilt. Now, the thing is, what I often hear people say is, if I do that, if I rest or if I engage in this activity, then, I feel really bad. But I use the word I feel really bad, but what they're really saying is I feel really guilty. I feel like I'm not spending enough time with my family. I'm not spending time with my parents. But actually, you're probably doing yourself, a really big favor by engaging in that context with others, and recharging yourself. And when those thoughts show up, what I want you to remember is thoughts, as I've said throughout my videos, are not facts. They're not real. They come up, they're like chemicals fusing in the brain. They're trying to tell you this story about why you shouldn't be doing something. And, we tend to believe those stories, and especially if they keep showing up all the time. What I want you to remember is, thoughts come and go like the passing of the clouds in the sky. So if you do have a thought that's not a helpful thought, I want you to notice that thought. Just notice it. Don't try to push it away. Don't try to avoid it. Just sit there and notice it. Just notice it. Just say, you could even say, thank you for showing up today again, Notice it. Maybe you kind of think about what it's saying, listen to what it's saying to you, and then let it go. Try not to focus on it for too long. If you push that thought away, it will come back again, and it comes back with full force. But if you just sit there and notice it, what the research shows is that it's far more effective in terms of it losing its power and it not upsetting you as much. So let it go, just like the passing cloud. And if you see a cloud in the sky and you happen to be outside or looking outside a window, imagine that thought going up with that cloud and watch it pass by, and then carry on doing what you're doing. Because ultimately, you want to feel like you're in the driver's seat of these thoughts. By focusing on them, they will grow. and we don't want them to grow, especially if they're not helpful. I will leave a link in the description below with more information on ACE if you would like to learn more about ACE and how you can apply it in your life to really help you kind of feel that sense of achievement, connection, and enjoyment that helps you kind of feel rested and relaxed as well. I hope you've enjoyed this video. Please leave me a like or a comment. And if you haven't already, then please hit the subscribe button. And I look forward to seeing you again in my next video. And thank you very much for watching.